Hello everyone, welcome to another weekly market review. It is the 7th of September 2020. As we expected, we have gotten a big pullback across all markets. Now we're going to discuss the game plan of what we need to look at going ahead. Looking at the total market cap chart, and what we have is currently the retest. If you're watching the last review, spoke about this quarterly level as the key level that needs to hold for a bullish narrative on this market. Let's look at the weekly. So we've had a very strong week right into the quarterly level. What I would say is that this is the base that I was talking about before, and if you can see clearly, it would actually be the weekly level that is below for the lower time frame base, and for the higher time frame base I would say that it would be this level that we have broken below. So if you look at this double bottom base, currently what we've done is we broke up above it, tried to find support, and we broke down below. You see the lower time frame base that has this weekly level of 285. We are not even close to that, but what I actually mentioned was for this quarterly level to be a very significant level, and we have come down just as anticipated. The depth was something that the market had to just do on its own to prove itself. So for now we had two very steep days followed by a lot of selling being absorbed at this quarterly level. Here I'll just remove this. This is the lows that I was talking about. There was so much liquidity here that price just needed to be attracted to coming down. But not only have we taken the liquidity, we've decimated whatever kind of longs, all kinds of overexposure, it has been decimated. And what we've done now is I'll just take the VWAPs from the May low. Let's see what they look like. So we've made a retrace of this move. Oh, look at that. And here's your confluence. So we have the big confluence over here, golden pocket confluence, along with this very emotional lows, the May lows, the VWAP from the May lows. So this is very nice confluence along with the quarterly level. So I would say this is the big level for the bulls to defend, and as of now I think they have done a good job of it. What else I would say is the market is overly bearish, considering this is what happens, guys, in a bull market. Sometimes you will get very extreme volatility, and just the shape of this move, what it's done now is it has created a big bearish sentiment, and that's exactly what we need. What did I tell you when price was up here? I told you to be cautious, I told you to take profits, and I told you to have the capital ready for when we do come down. You have to understand that since we have made these March lows, the market hasn't really had a proper correction, So this is what we would say the first actual real correction, where if you have taken profits, there was so much volatility here. Now you have the capital to be able to play bigger moves. If you haven't seen the previous review, I would recommend to really watch that, because I am discussing the macro picture in that, and we are still in a very bullish environment, guys. Like, what is happening? This is basically just the dollar pulling back from a key level, and we will discuss the dollar again, but we are just in a very bullish environment for assets. So when we do get pullbacks like this, and they start to shape up, it's still very early. we'll look at a few things in the altcoin market cap that I'm looking at. But what we have to do now is build some kind of a base, and what I would say is that this is the key zone. This quarterly level is the key zone. This would be the area, essentially this VWAP, I would say, from May, the anchored VWAP. This would be the key area to be able to manage your risk. So the closest you can get for this zone to manage risk, the better it is. And this can be a swing trade, a high time frame trade that you can that there is a potential of manifesting. So very good risk adjusted plays. There is a lot of confluence over here. I think this is a very significant level, and for now, whatever test we are having, we are holding it. So since we've had multiple tests of this zone, the velocity of this drop has begun to stall. What I have suggested even in the Discord is that since we've had such a high velocity drop, to absorb the entire momentum and build something outside of this, we need to start to move sideways for a while. So there should be a period of consolidation. If this is the bullish level and if this is where everything has to get absorbed, there is potential for another higher time frame retest. If that comes, you know where you can manage your risk from. And outside of that, the absorption can take place in a sideways range if this is bullish, and if the asset markets have the narrative that I have spoken about, we should be seeing something like this pan out. So I would say the next couple of weeks, maybe 3. This is something that we need to see. We need to see price range out, and you now know what the bottom of the range is. Just today we have tested it and got another reaction, so it is proving itself. We get another higher time frame test, it will prove itself again. But that test, you can already have 2, 3 or 4 touches in the lower time frame. I think it's 4 touches in the lower time frame. So it is already a strong area. You can use it to manage risk. Most of all, this VWAP, because the thing about anchored VWAPs, some people in the Discord were asking me about how I plot them. So what I essentially look for, of course, is first monthly lows. So this is the lows from May. So it's monthly lows, but also very significant ones are, places which have led to a big impulse, or very emotional moments. So the halving and this pre-halving dump, it was a very emotional moment. This is very significant, I think, this VWAP. And if price can hold it, I think it would prove itself, and it would be significant on its own as well. So what I would say is that this is a key level for me now, this VWAP, anchored VWAP, along with the quarterly level and the golden pocket of this move. This is a key level, and this becomes the place for me to be managing my risk for continuation of this big trend that we are near the beginning of. So just keep a lookout for this. And for crypto, I think this is the key game plan. You need to keep this chart out, set your alerts at the lows, and find the stronger coins. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, you can do so. I do occasionally share charts of relative strength where I'm showing you which are the stronger coins and which are the coins that I'm looking at, your market leaders, along with coins that have been showing strength. Another thing I want to talk about is a shift in dynamics that is possible, because what we did in the previous cycle in 2017 was that we had a big run up for alts against BTC. The entire market sold off, where many of the coins sold off 60 to 70%, And after that, what happened was that most of the market scaled back in to what was supposed to be these bullish alts. And what happened instead was that all the value flowed into BTC, and odds against BTC took a bit of a hit, and Bitcoin went on its own. So that is something that is very significant and something that you should consider when you are considering your strategy of being able to accumulate at the bottom of this potential range. Is the altcoin market cap chart, and what we can see is price did end up coming back and testing close to the monthly. There's also a quarterly level here, so let's look at it on the weekly. So on the weekly again, you can see that this is the previous base where we have come back down. On the monthly time frame, it is much cleaner. On the weekly, it looks like, let's just look at the weekly close over here. Yeah, so the weekly is still closing above this key weekly level. I'd say that this is significant and to keep an eye out on this, but you can see that we have wicked down, but on the 4-hour I have something more significant to show you, which is first of all this ramp which we broke up out of, and just look at how right on top of the channel we are finding support. Let's just quickly look at our fibs. So this is possibly a 0.5 retrace. Yep, so it's the 0.5 in confluence with the channel top, and because this is more bullish, this has been more bullish. Look at it from the June bottom. Okay, so we did kind of break down below the VWAP from the June bottom. Let's look at it from the May, like we did in the total market cap. So no clear confluence from the anchored VWAPs. Checked June and May bottoms, it's somewhere in the middle, but in that sense total market cap has more confluence. What I would say is this channel is very significant on the altcoin market cap chart. You know that once we did break up above this, you can see how significant it was, because the kind of moves that we got, you know, even the big sell-off in August, it found support close to this monthly and this channel. So in general, altcoins are more bullish than BTC. They have been, but I did tell you to keep an eye out, because after September in 2017 we did have a slight shift. I mean, it's not necessary that may happen, you know, so also keep that in mind. It might just be that, you know, odds continue to hold correlation. What I would say is keep a lookout at that correlation even while we do range out over here. But the significant levels over here are this monthly. If we are refining that monthly level, it is this daily and also this channel on the altcoin market cap, and the plan is the same. What I can say is different for the altcoin market cap is that we have made a high, you know, this on the 1 hour. Let's just look at it on the 1 hour. So this is the high that made the low on the 1 hour. So we have made a higher high and a higher low. So if these highs are taken out in this move that we make up, if these highs are taken out, then we have broken this downtrend, you know, because we did not have any confirmed break of a downtrend all the way since the September move. So if we do get above here, there's a confirmation, and again any dips would be worth buying. I think For BTC, anything sub 10,000, I mentioned it in the Discord a couple of days ago, anything below 10,000 is an area of value. But after what we have now, 1 2 3 times this area is held as support, you get anything close to here, it would be significant. And keep a lookout, because we have made a higher high and a higher low. So if we break market structure on alts, then you can be looking at the strongest ones and buying the dips on those. Now we're looking at Bitcoin. This is on the monthly, and previous month we've had now what would be the second highest monthly close at about 11,700. We're getting this retrace now, and what we want to see is a significant level where price is holding. On the monthly, I would say this is the significant level that we have, which is slightly lower. It is about 9470, 9500. But on the weekly is where I have a very significant level, which is this weekly block. And if you have been following me, you do know that I spoke about the relevance of this block on the total market cap chart, but it is also so relevant on the Bitcoin chart, because you know the kind of move that came out of it, broke market structure as well, very high velocity, very high volume, and you can see how significant it was on the way up. Just did not allow price to close it. So what I would say is that it holds its significance right now, and this becomes the area, and this becomes the level to lose, and so it is very relevant and very significant, and a great place to manage risk. Just on its own, I think if you look at this chart right here, this is so significant, and I do not know if there's enough people looking at this, and if there's enough people who actually watch this and understand how relevant this block is. I'm currently not even looking for added confluence, though you should never really be doing that. So I will pull out a fib and just check how deep BTC's pullback was. It's not a relevant fib level, which is slightly concerning, because you do want price to be able to do that, so that is something that is slightly concerning. But you have to understand the kind of cascade that we had. But you can see what price has done. Let's look at it on the daily. You can see what price has done on the daily. Just look at this block, in fact, look at the daily closes right here. So you're starting to get a bit of a level over here at about 10,160, and just look at this absorption. So a lot of people are calling out and saying, price is ready to go there. I don't know for certain, but what I know is that this is very relevant, and this is a great place for me to manage risk. When I see this, people are like, oh, rules of 4, rules of 5. You will see a lot of major supports on Bitcoin having multiple tests. Here you can see we had 1 2 3 tests. 4th time we went right through it, took out liquidity. 5, so there's 5 tests right here which held. We moved up. You will see it time and time again. 1 2 3 4 5 6, little fake out, we moved up. So you should know that significant bottoms can have that kind of a test. Look at this right here, what we went through in June. Look at the absorption. How many tests did we have? Once we printed this low in May, we had 1 2 3 4 5 6 tests that held, and look at the kind of move we got away from it. So what is happening actually is that, a lot of bears who were trying to push this were looking for some kind of a technical retrace, or a technical aspect to this move, and because of that they got trapped. There wasn't there wasn't much technically in this consolidation that was not suggesting that there is a probability that we could move to the downside. So there was people who were betting on it, and a lot of people were betting on this support to get exhausted. It's basically this support level right here. But it just held up this block. This daily block just held price really well. And if we zoomed in, there was another block over here that held price once we did end up moving, once we ended up confirming this test. So, and you do know, if you're in the Discord, we successfully traded this block on the way up. So what I would say is here, this is the significant level. Just a quick look at the anchored VWAPs. I want to see where price has been from the May lows. Okay, so pretty similar to the total market cap chart. We are capping out from the price at the May lows. This was so significant for Bitcoin, right? This little move down, and this weekly block. I mean, both of them are so significant. Just this is a historic time, close to the halving, and this was a historic move. The move that manifested out of this block. So it makes so much sense that price is doing what it is. If people are calling this unnatural, you should. This is technical analysis, guys, and this is such a technical level right now. And there is a CME gap which is lower as well, which is also adding confluence to this support. So we have a lot of confluence at this level, and like I said before, I'll say it again, you get something sub 10k on BTC, this is the zone to manage risk from, and that's a trade to take, because this could really end up being that long-term swing level. But of course, what we do need is for price to prove itself. We'll quickly go to the hourly. So another thing you want to see is, look at this big volume, all the down moves, they're the ones that have had that bigger volume. First of all, it's declining, and second of all, it is also this is what is reflecting the absorption, so I would say just don't rule it out. I did show you. If I didn't, we could possibly draw out a range for BTC here. I haven't done that. I'm actually still looking at a range from the altcoin market cap. The altcoin market cap chart. So that's the range I'm interested in. But I think this is a reasonable range. It is being reasonably respected. What we want is this is a reasonable range on BTC as well. So if we are to range, there's a good potential for range play here. Get by the bottom of the range, sell higher up, and be sure to find this place to manage risk, guys. This is so significant. Look at this 3 drives. We had a very weak bounce from this 3 drive, but just look at how price has been absorbing this, and also look at the decline in volume. So this is big sell, smaller, smaller, it's getting even smaller. So this is just the aggressive supply, just trying and trying. I think now what we should be looking for is maybe another retest. I won't rule that out, but then a potential bounce higher. And if we do get that potential bounce higher, then the altcoin market cap is going to make that higher high that I was talking about. So we're going to break market structure. It's going to trigger a lot of algorithms, but this is an area of value, guys. Have no doubt about it. It is, no matter, this basically, the thing is just the magnitude of this move. It's going to flip sentiment, but you just have a great place over here to manage risk. Why would you not use that? If this could be a swing trade, I have given you targets in the previous review, so this is so nice to have your invalidation so close by. What you're looking for is a close, because on a higher time frame we can still range about, and like we did in, I would say, December. Just have a quick look at December. We could still do something like this, just break below low, break below something which is proven to be support, because price can do that. That's what happens in bottoms. But just be prepared in case we do get sub 10k. Just like the total market cap and the altcoin market cap chart, there's some nice places to manage risk, and a range that can eventually end up playing out. Here we're looking at the Nasdaq. What I have for you is a channel with an extension. So it is just the same channel, just extended 0.5 and 0.1, and sorry. So what you can see is basically how I came up with this channel was very cleanly respected right here, when price was moving up, and you can see each time we went above and below the channel, it continued to be respected. When this happens on price, I generally tend to use the extensions on channel, and you can see the middle of the channel being very well respected, with the top of the channel coming back down to the mid of the inside channel. And what have we done? We have gone right to the 1:1 extension of the channel, and the correction has been right at the middle of the initial channel. And this is the 50 EMA, and you can see that the Nasdaq likes it. Sometimes I convert it into the 55, but when price is trending, you can see how well it is respected in either direction. And currently we have found good confluence with the 50 EMA and the middle of the channel for Nasdaq. Good reaction from there. Let's see what happens with price. We do have technical levels right here. Quick look at the fib. I'd say it's too deep for a fib. Yeah, if we pull it from this lower consolidation, you have another confluence over here, which is the golden pocket. So very significant, nice shape, lots of confluence, good level. I would say, along with what crypto is doing, I think since this is a lot of this move is based on the dollar, like I have spoken many times before, we may get the similar kind of consolidation over here. It would be interesting to see whether we can actually get a prolonged sell-off, or it is going to be similar to what I am expecting, at least for now, on cryptocurrency. This was a 10% drop, and also in terms of magnitude, it is the highest since the March bottom, you can see we have not had candles of this magnitude. So let's see how this pans out. Just like cryptocurrencies, I'm expecting a slight range, but you do know that September historically has been a negative month for the indices. But since we are in the election year, generally we do end up continuing to remain bullish. So I would not be surprised if we just range and absorb the sell pressure. It will be interesting to see. In terms of levels, we have this 50 EMA. So what we can see is if the trend is to continue, then get another couple of tests of it and start to move up again. And if prices to get weaker and we had to build a longer range, you would see price start to lose the EMA, and also we have a significant weekly level over here. Well, up here there is nothing too significant, I would say. This is the only consolidation phase we have over here, which is slightly significant, that we had in July. But outside of that, price has just not really built any kind of shape. This has just been such a powerful move out of here. People still doubting whether this was the bottom or not. How far does that look now? So people had doubts over here. Okay, might not be the bottom, might not be all the way up here, might not be. I'm not so sure. I haven't really recently looked at the traditional market sentiment, but what do people think now? Are we gonna make new lows again? From here, if we have to come down here, it's basically the end of the world. There's no other reason for price to come and do that. Historically, all the statistics that we have, they would prove that this is a significant bottom, and whatever kind of big sell-off you do get over the next 12 months, it's just it's a buy on any day, because if this is a significant bottom, we can continue. In terms of pivots, we are below both the weekly and the monthly, so that is another thing that is there to see. For prolonged upside, I would like for price to reclaim this level. Is so significant when both the pivots sit on each other, because you can see the first bounce we did get off of the monthly pivot, which turned into the weekly pivot. So if we do get up here, you should expect this to at least on the first initial touches to act as resistance. But for traditional markets, just like crypto, again in conclusion, expecting a bit of a range. Judge how whether this has to trend or not using this 50 EMA. Looking at the relative dollar on the index, and what I would say is that this what we have here is an advertisement for anchored VWAPs, because you do know right at the beginning of this month, I was able to predict the big move in all markets, and essentially most of it, a big part of the confluence was to do with where the dollar was, and it had all to do with the VWAP in confluence with the quarterly level up here. But this anchored VWAP is it is what it is. Look at how strong the move from here was. Look at how big the move from this consolidation was. So this is not, and it's taken perfectly from the low. So this is an advertisement for anchored VWAPs. I would say that if you are not in the Discord, then you may be confused about how well they work. If you are, you do know, and most probably you're using them already, so I don't have to say it again and again. But nonetheless, another thing we had is there was a divergence. I think clear on some lower time frames. So we did end up having divergence. We even had a much lower time frame divergence here. You can see on this flag we had on the hourly divergence as well, in confluence with the VWAP, in confluence with the quarterly level right here. Got a significant move out of here. But for now, what I would say is that it's still not looking very strong, guys. Like, I mean, this is a bounce and it was customary, but I mean, frankly, I was expecting something more. But what has happened on this bounce is we have gotten quite a significant reaction from the indices. But outside of that, I mean, I've taken the VWAP from the August highs. Actually, it's not the August highs, but I did take it from. Let me just shift it to the August highs and see. It's close to the August highs nonetheless. Here, this is the VWAP from the August highs. So this is in confluence with the quarterly level. It is possible we may go for this, but I mean, essentially, I would only be worried for the health of risk on markets if the dollar really reclaims this quarterly level and starts moving up, because now what we have is quite a decent zone of resistance right here. I think we can make it turn into some kind of a diagonal resistance for now. But if we look at it in terms of horizontals, here's the big zone of resistance on the dollar. The quarterly level, you can see it is significant. While we were doing this, this was happening during the big landmark announcement by Mr. Powell, and I was talking about how significant this level is, that we will get a strong reaction from it. We got that strong reaction, a very strong bounce across all markets. So this is a very significant level. You can see the reactions we have gotten. We have confluence with the August high VWAPs as well. So let's see how this reacts if the dollar has to get here. I would expect it to continue to remain as resistance, which in turn would basically turn this into just a bearish retest and then further continuation. And what I would say is, like I said in the macro review, once we lose this quarterly level, let's just look at it on the daily. Yeah, so you can see this is significant support. So once we do lose this, there's a lot of thin here. You can just see how the dollar moves in this zone. There's no price action here. So this is so significant as a zone, because once we lose this, assets are really going to pump hard. So there is a probability of consolidation over here, while we do still get some bullish moves. So it's pretty clear the game plan on the dollar. This is the big resistance. We just turn it red. It's the big resistance up here. Quarterly level also significant as resistance in confluence with the August VWAP, and this is the big support. This is the level. Once we do lose this, this is a big pump time for most assets. And so here's what we have. I mean, just in terms of the magnitude of this move down, it is just so bearish that we haven't really got any kind of higher highs, all the way down. What I was expecting was actually for the dollar to come up here for this big move down that we got even on crypto. But somehow it has been so weak that we just continue to move See, then you can look at it in from 2002 onwards. So we had basically initially a couple of years where we didn't really break any highs that made the lows. So I think we could be in just this phase where we get slight consolidations, another move down. Is essentially eventually only 2004 we started to flatten out, and then trying to form a bottom, we did make another move down. So for now, it could be that we are in this early phase of the dollar, and you can see the early phase of its crash. It was just lower highs, lower lows, very small consolidations, and then continuation. So why we are looking so weak is that maybe there is potential to do that. But I mean, it is just the beginning of this bounce. I mean, it has only been a week. So, even if it is really bearish, there can be some time, but price does that. And while the dollar does that, the probability of other markets ranging is high. I mean, it is significant. I would not say high, but it is significant. So just keep a lookout on the dollar, and let's see if this range continues.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and go ahead and share it with someone else. And if you have any questions about what we covered today, please leave them in the comments and I will be sure to get back to you or answer them in my next video. For more trading content and education, go ahead and click on the video on your right. Thanks for watching, guys, and cheers!